We have 190-something distribution projects this year to increase the capacity. So this is not a snap in the button solution. It's a methodical, developmental, and process-driven solution to the power problem. I'm comfortable with where we are, and I think that the people we serve will acknowledge that between 2015 and now, as far as power supply is concerned, they have a better experience. They want more, and we are determined to give more.
So does this roadmap lead the way to the future?
Certainly. Certainly. Look, this country doesn't have an energy mix where the energy will be coming from. This was one of the first things we did. We've created an energy mix. Get more solar from the north, get more gas from the Niger Delta, get more hydros from the north central using the rivers, get more coal from north central and southeast. That is clear. What is our energy mix? We are also targeting to have 30% of renewable energy by 2030. Now, we've set out our transmission expansion lines, so we know where money will be going based on audits and plans. And that takes time to put together on a national scale. We have now realized that, look, we can't continue to build out this grid because it is expensive. We now want to open up access to rural and semi-urban communities so that they can have their own dedicated power, which is reliable, instead of being connected by grid extensions that go up to 300 kilometers and deliver inefficient power. That's what you often see when you hear that people say they have low current, because most of the power is lost over the distribution line. And all of that, that story is changing.
If you look at the whole gamut of the power supply chain, from generation, transmission, and distribution, where's the weakest link?
I won't call it a weak link. I think that it requires an understanding. And I continue to emphasize that you need to understand it. This is a production cycle, okay? And where everybody must run in sync, okay? A year and a half ago, the story in the public space was that the distribution companies were complaining that they were not getting enough power. In 2015, the story was that there was not enough power. The story has changed to there is not enough distribution capacity because more power has been added. And what we need to achieve as we go on is that no part of the value chain runs unreasonably ahead of the other or unreasonably behind the other. And we're going to tie that together slowly, because transmission and generation are almost at par now, at 7,000 plus. So it's distribution that needs to come on.
Would it be right to say you've concentrated most of your reform plan on that of generation and transmission rather than distribution, rather than making the distribution arm, which would deliver to the finish line, more productive?
That would not be correct. What would be correct is to say first that we have focused on supplying the product, which is what people need. What is the use of having transformers of 10,000 megawatt capacity when you don't have electricity to put on it? So, and that is consistent with our incremental power strategy. Get the energy on first, transport it, and then distribute it. So now, it's like the oil business.
I think we should look at the distribution arm now, which you said at the beginning of this interview that is going to be essentially private sector driven. And how attractive do you think this this sector is to investors?
There's increasing appetite in the power sector in Nigeria, and that includes the distribution side. But there are existing contracts that define the nature of investments that can be made. There are regulations that govern them under the contract signed with the National Council on Privatization. So getting new investors in will be contingent on ensuring first that that is done within the existing contractual framework. I have always been a very strong champion of respect for contracts, unless they become totally unworkable and they can be renegotiated. So There's appetite for it. How that structure takes place is a matter of interface, not only by the ministry, but also with other agencies, like the National Council on Privatization, Bureau of Public Enterprises, and so many other.
Yeah, but I have spoken to a couple of distributors of this power in the power supply chain, and one common groaning that I've heard loud and clear is the problem of liquidity. So how do you intend to use your regulatory intervention to address the problem of liquidity?
Let me again inform you that my work is largely policy. The regulator of the sector is NERC, not me. So you need to read the law. It's a 101 section law, and I think people must familiarize themselves with this law. The days when the minister could do what he liked in the days of PSA are gone. There is now a law, and I'm a lawyer, and I must follow the law. So, but there are things that in terms of policy directions, one of the things we did in order to address liquidity was to first see that those who were producing the power, the GENCOs, were not getting paid. So we set up a policy, advised government, put a payment assurance guarantee in place so that all the power they produce onto the grid is paid for. That was the 701 billion payment assurance guarantee. That's what kicked off the increasing supply. So it was a liquidity solution because some of them had power, but they were not sure they would get paid, so they didn't put the power on. The plants were idle. Some of them wanted to put the power on. The gas suppliers were not ready to give them gas because they were not sure they would get paid. The gas suppliers who wanted to develop their gas processing plants were not sure that they would get money from the banks. So in order to address that, put 701 billion over a 2-year period. Let's see what happens. While Embed, the bulk trader, continues to see how he can improve his collection from the discos in order to pay off that loan.